one. We are united. We are one. We are united. We are one. We are united. We are one.
This being Chinese New Year, we get to hear the whole history of what this beautiful, beautiful day is all about. And what we're doing here in CSLs across all of the organizations, about 400 worldwide, we are celebrating oneness. And one of the things about oneness is an acceptance and an understanding and appreciation and respect of all cultures. So some of you may have been brought up celebrating Chinese New Year's. Others, when you came here to the Bay Area, said, oh, this is fun. We get to throw fireworks in the street without having a lot of comprehension of what it's about. We are going to be teaching a little bit today of what it is all about, as one of the ways we represent oneness. Because oneness is actually the essence of all CSL teachings. Ernest Holmes talks about life being an eternal givingness, offering the cosmic self to the joy of its own fulfillment. You and I are a part of this joy, and we find fulfillment only as the joy passes through us to others. Everything moves in circles. Everything is oneness. We short-circuit our own good when we refuse to pass it on. Isn't that beautiful? And when we're caught up in our own stuff is when it's hard to pass on the joy and the love that is who we inherently are. So celebrating oneness for the whole month of February is about celebrating love, joy, peace, beauty. All these things that are the names of the divine that is resident inside us. From the Science of Mind, which is the textbook for CSL, they say oneness is the basis of our entire philosophy, our entire worldview, our entire beingness. When we allow oneness to be what we live from, our thoughts, words, and actions contribute to an ethical world, a world that works for everyone. It's when we stay connected to spirit. And that's what oneness is all about. Which then begs the question, when we are not connected to oneness, what are we connected to? And of course, you can never be separate. You can never be separate. But we are beings that are a choice of how we respond to each and every event that occurs in our life. And when someone comes at us in a way that is not loving and joy-filled and peaceful, it is so easy to take our own self away from our divine center of peace and respond in kind. And when we do that, what we are responding from is fear. We are afraid of a variety of things, and at the end of the day, it often becomes fear of not being loved, fear of not being accepted, fear of being judged. Now, as we celebrate Chinese New Year, we have a whole nother thing to start being afraid of. Because here you go out on the streets of San Francisco and you hear fireworks, right? Firecrackers in the street. Well, immediately when I hear them, I start to clench. That big loud noise, just bugs the bejeebus out of me, and I don't know what to do with it. So when we don't know what to do is when we operate often from the sense of separation. We're not operating from oneness. We're operating from fear, anxiety, apprehension. It gets noisy, doesn't it? That fear overrides everything. Until
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Gong hei fat choi.
Gong hei fat choi.
Boy, you said it kind of correct. Chinese New Year is here, but on Tuesday, February 5th. But don't worry, it's not too early because the Chinese really know how to milk a holiday. We celebrated for 15 days. Yes.
Like my
nice.
birthday, 15 days.
Exactly. So Chinese New Year, what comes to mind when you think about Chinese New Year? Anybody?
Firecrackers.
Firecrackers.
Red envelope.
Red envelopes.
Colors, dancing.
Food, joy, food. Dragon parade. More food. Fun. Family. Okay. So all those are really traditions, and they are just traditions. But they're sort of superficial when you don't know what's behind the tradition. So I used to ask my mom and dad, why do you do this? Why do we have to get together on New Year's Eve and have dinner together? Why the red envelopes? Why do I have to wear red? And my parents says, tradition, tradition. It's because they don't know. So if you actually ask a lot of Chinese or Asians, they don't know either. They just do it because this mom and dad says so. But I'll bet you, even when you asked my grandpa, he didn't know either. It was just good to say tradition. However, today all of you are here to learn Chinese New Year 101. And you're going to go learn about it through a story called the Nian, the story of the Nian. But we'll go on that after I establish a couple things that are main activities, tradition. I'm going to list a few of them. The number one that some of you don't know about is that New Year's Eve dinner. Oh my goodness. It is actually called the most important meal in the whole year. I don't care if you have a hot date on that day. I don't care if Super Bowl is on that day. Every family member, loved one, has to get together to have this New Year's Eve meal. Secondly, this meal has to be vegetarian. Ooh, I'll bet you a lot of you didn't know that. Some of you vegans are going, yay! Yes.
And the rest of us?
And the rest of you. Oh, and then also red. The colors are red. Ooh, look at all those people who are wearing red. You've got to have red everywhere. Red, 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 red. You've got to have banners that are red, signs that are red. But you know, when you are saying affirmations at the spiritual cinema, this is where we do have a little bit of lesson here. For example, we said that the colors have to be hung everywhere. But instead of just hanging them with nothing on it, we always put something on it, right? So you heard Reverend Kathy sort of say, Kung Hei Fat Choi. Okay. Let's do it correctly, all right? Gong.
Gong.
All right? So the word gong, of course, we will let Susan be in charge of gong. What comes the next word? Hey. Okay. Hey. Hey. Now, this is the symbol for hey. And you notice on these two banners, there are two of them. Okay? Because the word hey means happiness. Now, if you had a little bit of happiness, wouldn't you want to double that?
Mm-hmm.
So you see a lot of double happiness. Now, in the old days, they used to say, just for marriages, matrimony only, but come on. Happiness goes beyond marriage. You know, you don't have to be married to have double happiness, right? So therefore, I'm going to make Nola in charge. She's going to be in charge of the hay. What's the next word?
Fat.
Fat. Okay. Yeah, some people call it fat. Okay. It's fat.
Fat.
And it means burst, flourishing. It's like, how do you do a translation of something like, you know? If you want that happiness, how do you want it to come? Yeah. So you heard the word gong means wish. You heard the word happiness. And how do you want that happiness to come to you? So we will make Barbara in charge of that. There you go. All right. And then what's that last word we go with that? Choi. Okay. Choi. Anybody want to gander what that means? It means prosperity, abundance. Oh, that word you hear quite a bit here. Okay. So let's see. Joyce be in charge of our Choi. Okay. Yeah. Now, those of you who are holding on to that, you know that on certain cue, you may need to put those signs up to wish everybody, okay? You know who the gongs are, you know who the fats are, you know who's fat, right? No. And then there are certain words that you may not know as part of the wishing, but you've seen this word before, some of you. This means, well, it's pronounced I, but it means, oh, okay. So who wants to be loved? Tony wants to be loved. And then, of course, don't forget the pig. Don't forget the pig. Okay. And I don't have the pronunciation there because it's different between Cantonese and Mandarin. In Mandarin is zhu, but in Cantonese it's ji. You're either zhu or ji. All right? Who wants to be a pig today? Oh, Carrie wants to be.
I'll be a pig today.
Okay. All right.
Especially at potluck.
We have a potluck there. Okay, so those are important. And then we have also noisemakers. Noisemakers. Before there was firecracker, we just had anything that make noise. Let's see. What do I have here? Oh my goodness. Pat wants to be the noisemaker. Oh my goodness. Pat wants to be the noisemaker. Okay. Well, you know, Pat, you can't have all the fun. Big people can't have. We have Nikolai get to have one. Come on. Little people got to be remembered. Yeah. All right. So remember, now all these are part of the story that's coming up there too. And then, of course, we have red envelopes. Red envelope etiquette, of course, if you're listening carefully, at the end of the talk, you may or may not be treated to red envelopes or treat. Let me tell you about those as well. Etiquette. If you are going to be giving a red envelope that has a dollar in it, and it's usually a crispy new dollar. You know, none of those old wilty ones. But if you give me an old wilty one, I'll take it. See, if you're going to give one with $1 in it, you need to give 2. Oh my goodness. Because what did I say? Everything wants to go here? Yes. Even though we're into oneness, we don't want you to be ever alone. We don't ever want to wish anybody alone. So envelopes are monies given in 2. Now, if you're sort of cheap like me sometimes, I'll put 2 in there, but I'll put 2 nickels. Money's money, right? You don't say no to money. And I'll put the 2 coins in an envelope, and that is good enough. But if you want to be fancy smancy, and you want to get these new envelopes that have a little piggy on there. You have a little piggy, and you want to give one, but make sure you have how many dollars in it?
2.
We got our etiquettes now. All right. You put the $2 or the 2 envelope in there. And we'll tell you about who or what to give it to. I'll tell you now. Did you know that red envelopes are given to children and single people? Sorry, married couples.
You already have your double happiness.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. There you go. All right. So now you have a kind of a taste of the traditions that happen. You see people wearing red, hanging banners on all there, and exchanging the red envelopes. And then we're going to talk about what really started these traditions. Because I just gave it to you, but you don't know what it is. And now you're going to actually hear the story of Chinese New Year, also called Nian. And before I get into the story, I'm going to take this pretty red jacket off, because the tale that I'm going to tell you is rather dark. It's a very, very sad story. Once upon a long time ago, 4,717 years to be exact, China was not that populous. You think, wow, there's billions of people in China today. No, there were hardly anybody. I mean, that's due to a couple of reasons. We have a country that's just only 10% arable. You didn't know that. 90% of the country, you just can't grow anything on that too. But they have also primitive farm instruments and etc. But legend has it that what really caused the population to be just that small was this legendary creature called Nian. Yeah, that's just how it sounds like. Nian. Now, the Chinese word for it nowadays, they call it year. But if it's year or the word Nian goes synonymous. But legend has it that this creature had the head of a horse, and teeth, fangs like that of a snake, huge muscular legs, and at the end of it were these claws with talons that just sharp enough to just razor cut on you too. And it has this long body that's covered with metal plates, and a tail that has so much power it could whip around and bang with incredible accuracy. And then it had these bloodshot eyes that protruded out of caverns of sockets there too. It was pretty darn scary. But descriptions of this creature varied from village to village in China, except for one fact: the devastation that this creature left. Oh my goodness. People mauled, animals gone, eaten, devoured, year after year after year. Now, one year, some of the villagers were saying, wait a minute, are we not human beings superior to the beast? Don't we have our frontal, our cortex? We could even think. How dare we allow this beast to just rule over our lives, offering ourselves as annual sacrifices? So what do? We call a town hall meeting right here at CSLP. We say, all right, give me some ideas what I could do. Well, they said, this is an animal after all. I know that animals don't like loud noises. Can I hear some loud noise? Okay. Yeah. But I also know that animals are really agitated by the color red. Oh, red, red, red. Oh my goodness. This is so scary. We wear red, we hang red, we have red everywhere red. Go Niners! We will have Yan in charge of the red, and everything's got to be happening when it happens there too. Red, 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 red. Okay. And then some of the villagers says, what if we fed this creature some vegetable instead of ourselves? Why don't we wean it from being a carnivorous thing and just feed it vegetable. Ah, ooh, that's a good idea. Some of you seen this at the parades, huh? When that creature comes to you, you see them toss this at them too. Wow, we better make sure. Let's see. This is one head of lettuce. However, group participation. Wow. When that creature comes, make sure you give it a little bit of vegetable. Okay. Wow, Jane, you make sure you give it a little bit of vegetable. Vance, you just sitting there doing nothing? Okay. Yeah, hey, Dad's got to do something too. All right. Okay. Now remember, when that creature, if it ever comes to you, it will be hungry. It will be hungry. And so, this is what we know about this creature too. It is a creature of hibernation. Oh, that means that it sleeps for most of the year, coming out right around this time. Now, it comes out toward the end of the year, and when it comes out, having not eaten for a long time, it is looking at Greg with a lot of appetite there.
I have my magic shawl.
So now you know that Tuesday is New Year's Day. That means tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And this is when that creature comes out, right around this time. I need all of you to be ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Got your reds, got your prosper saying, got your noisemakers, got your vegetable. Okay. Let's see if the end creature is going to come.
Hey!
Never to come out again for another year. Mark my words. Right around this time next year, come back to the village of CSLP, where we may be full of fear, but we are one, aren't we? With our cleverness, with our belief in these words. Gong!
Gong!
Hey!
Hey!
Fat!
Fat!
Choi!
Choi!
And all of this is because of A.
Aye.
Okay? Because it is the year of the pig. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to bring Reverend Kathy to come up here, and she's going to say, if you've been a good boy, girl, and boy, at the end of the service, we have this bowl of good luck candy, good luck money, and I believe this is through the generosity of many of our members. Nola put together, and there are 2 coins in each. Don't be greedy and take 2 envelopes, because that would be quadruple your joy, right? So, all right, I bring you back, Reverend Kathy.
Let's hear it for Elliot. I got my headphones. Thank you, Elliot.
Oh, one more thing. I need to end it up with wearing this jacket again. Oh, good. But not only that, on New Year's Day, the tradition, I forgot to mention, is that everybody goes to visit friends and relatives. And you try to wear something really nice, something really new, because this is what you are wishing for the new year. You want to wear something new, you want to wear something clean, but if you, legend has it, usually on New Year's Day, it's a very sad event. You go there and find out who's gone. Is that true? You go out and find out who's gone. And you go visit as many relatives as all. At that time, it was sad. It was like an inventory. Where is Uncle Bill? Oh, where's that little boy that used to play down the street there? He just got eaten. But this year is this village, completely different. Now when I put on my new clothes, I go out and go, Susan, you're still there. Lance, you're still alive. Carrie, they didn't eat you. Yes. And Jane, you're still alive with that beautiful hat of yours. Woohoo! Okay? Yeah. So this is what I mean. And Nikolai, thank you for scaring that creature away. You kept your father alive. I owe you 2 quarters. Okay. All right. So that is the story of New Year. Why on New Year's Day they all go out and they just slaughter the animal, because on the vegetarian meal is you do not want to slaughter animal when that creature is out. The smell of blood will draw them in. Correct? So on that the New Year's Eve dinner, it may, in the old days, it could have been your last supper. Could have been your last supper. Yes.
I heard on the news that 3 billion people in China go to visit their families, involving some distances, trains and planes and automobiles. That's an amazing number on that day.
That's why you give them about 15 days, more or less, to travel. Imagine you go all the way back there. Okay, go back now. So, cool story?
Cool story.
Now you know. Now you know.
I got this one. Thank you, Elliot. And that story ties into oneness, just from when the villagers did not respond to fear, did not feel separate, found a way through the creative thought process. We talk in our organization that when we're being creative, we're being divine. And those villagers found a way other than just hovering down in fear. They found their own oneness through vegetables and red and the packets and the noisemakers to banish fear, and lived in happiness. Who's got the happiness one? Who's happiness? Yay. So how do you say Happy New Year? There you go. Let us pray. There's one source of happiness, one source of wisdom, of joy, of love. I. Gung Hei Fat Choi. Happy New Year. Be prosperous in this new year. Bring that sense of oneness into your own heart, into your own mind, into your own life. For you are never separate. There is always that part of you that is connected to the divine. Our challenge as human beings is to feel that presence, to feel the awareness of the connection to spirit that is there each and every time we bring our focus inside. When we don't cower from the dragon, we find solutions. We find ways to solve the problems that come into our lives with happiness, with prosperity, with love. This is what I know each and every person in this room has the ability to do, chooses to do, is doing today on the celebration of Chinese New Year, on Super Bowl Sunday. As we are all here looking forward to an absolutely delightful Sunday, filled with filled with prosperity. I am so blessed to be here, to be representing Center for Spiritual Living Peninsula on this glorious day. And in this heartfelt gratitude that I feel for all the words that have been spoken here, which are already manifest in the mind of God, I release these words. I banish the fear. I invite Spirit to be strong and steady inside me each and every step I take today and every day. And as I release this, I invite each and every one of you to help me anchor these words by saying with me, and so it is.